Welcome back up, everybody. Had a great day one on Cheltenham Tuesday. We are back and we continue into Wednesday. Really looking forward to Wednesday. My favourite race of the week, the cross country chase, comes on Wednesday. I just love that race. So good luck to you all today. Really good fun day of racing to come for day two. Some fascinating races. Obviously, the feature race is the Queen Mother Champion Chase at 4 o'clock. But as I mentioned, my favourite race, cross country chase, is on day two. We've got our day two picks. Let's take a look at what we like for Wednesday. So we start 1:20 on Wednesday. It's the Turners Novices Hurdle over 2 mile 5 furlongs. The bookmakers have Final Demand and the New Line right at the top of the market. They're struggling to split them. You can understand why. Both around about 15 to 8, 2 to 1. Both unbeaten. Both look very open to progression and could get even better. Both top class prospects, you've got to say. Mullins' horse is Final Demand. Skelton horse is the New Lion. Totally understand why those two horses are at the top of the market and expect both of them to be there or thereabouts, but I think the bookies have probably got them priced accordingly. They struggle to see much value in the odds there. So we're going for a bit of a quirky selection here. It's another Mullins horse. It's Kiss Will. Only 2 starts so far in his career to date. Last performance was at Fairy House. That was back in January. Won comfortably, with plenty in hand. Back over there. That was a much shorter distance, 2 miles, just over 2 miles, and this is 2 mile 5, but kept on well and travelled very nicely. So you expect he can step up to this distance. It is a big step in terms of quality, a step up in terms of distance, but you think Mullins' horse, I don't think he's entering this horse to make up the numbers. I don't think he's entering this horse to give it some Cheltenham experience as such. I do feel Kiss Will does have an each-way squeak and a real potential to cause a bit of an upset. Certainly look out for extra places. I'm sure there'll be extra places available for this race. So that's a bit of a quirky selection. I'm not too hot on this race overall because I think, as I say, I think the bookies have got the top of the market pretty spot on. But we're going with Kiss Will here, 18 to 1. Next we move to Wednesday, 2 o'clock. Really interesting race, this one. The Brown Advisory Novice Chase over just under 3 miles 2. Ballyburn heads the market, will be very popular. Around about evens, 10 to 11 at the time of recording. Will be a lot of people's pick in this race, and understandable why. He is a class horse and certainly has every chance of winning this race. But we're going for one at a bit of a each way price here, around 6 to 1. Better days ahead. Gordon Elliott trained with Jack Kennedy on board. Won at the festival last year. He actually won the last race of the festival, which is the Martin Pipe Handicap on the Friday. What was the 5:20 this year? It was the 5:30 last year. Ran really well and stayed on superbly in that race, off for 11.7. So we know that he can run well at Cheltenham. Certainly has the history. Ran pretty well last time out over in Navan. That was back in February, staying on pretty well and beating Stella Story by a neck, but was staying on pretty well that day, and it was an odds on shout and did indeed get the job done. So I think better days ahead. Certainly got every chance of getting involved in this race, and at a backable each way price. That's why I particularly like him. Around 6 to 1, you can back him each way, and I think should give you a good run for your money at that price. Better days ahead, but it is an interesting race, this one. Dancing City's in there, another Mullins horse, which could overturn Ballyburn, absolutely. And there's some ones at bigger prices. Obviously, Stella Stories in there as well, we just mentioned, only beaten by a neck by this horse better days ahead, and South Story's around 12, 14 to 1 right now. So it's an interesting race, this one. It's full of Mullins horses. There's, I think, 4 in this race. So, yeah, it's very likely Willie will be getting some prize money from this race. But we're taking him on with the Gordon Elliott trained Better Days Ahead. So next we skip along to Wednesday, 3:20 p.m. My favourite race of the week, Glen Farclas Cross Country Chase over 3 miles 5 and a bit. Love this race. It's always a good spectacle, loads of different types of jumps, and this race was postponed last year due to waterlogging of the tracks. It's great to see it back. Fascinating race this, it always is. Tiger Roll, absolutely love this race. 3 wins for him, 2018, 2019, 2021, and some good runs in there in between as well. Keith Donoghue rode Tiger Roll. 2 of those 3 successes is on board the favourite Stumptown for this race, 9 to 4. This race often also a good indication, certainly in recent years, for the Grand National. Obviously notably Tiger Roll going on to do Grand National double. Delta Work winning this race twice and going on to a good second at Grand National last year. But yeah, great to see this race back. Stumptown then is top of the market, kind of understand it, but I like Mr. Coffee here, 6 to 1, backable in each way price. Interesting, Mr. Coffee finished second to Stumptown in his last outing. Stumptown won by 1 length to Mr. Coffee. Stumptown that day had 11.4 on him. He'll have 11.10 on him this race, so a £6 hike. Mr. Coffee 10.9, and he'll go 10.10 in this race. So quite interesting from that point of view. 1 length, not too much to overdo. We know that Mr. Coffee, is a good horse, very capable at this distance. Good run in the Grand National a couple of years ago, 2023, when he finished 8th of 39 that day. And if you remember, he was leading for large chunks of that race before fading. It was the race when Corach Rambler came forward and won the race. He really did fade that day, but Mr. Coffee, but he gave it a good go for almost 4 miles of the race. So yeah, I do like Mr. Coffee, and he's back up at each way price. But this race has some really interesting runners. We must mention Galvin, 7 to 2, 4 to 1. Do think he can go well again. Getting on a bit now, but Galvin, but he's a classy horse. He's been so good in the past. Good run at Grand National actually last year for Galvin. Just feel that's a bit skinny. If Galvin drifts to 6, 7 to 1, I will back him as well. But 7 to 2, 4 to 1, a bit skinny for me right now. Vanillier's in there. Interesting horse. Has had success at Cheltenham in the past, but not so much recently. But capable. Really nice looking horse, Vanillier. The Goffer's in there. Not too sure about the Goffer, but 14 to 1 if you are a Goffer fan. But great race this one. And we like Mr. Coffee at an each way price, 6 to 1, 3:20 Wednesday. 4 o'clock then. What a race this is set to be. Queen Mother Champion Chase over just short of 2 miles this race. John Bon, like the look of him, is around evens at the time of recording. What a horse he is, and what a great bit of form he is in. He's only got 3 blips on his record, all second places, and all ironically coming at Cheltenham. However, and it is a big however, one of those was a loss to Constitution Hill. One of those was a loss to El Fabiolo, and the other one, which came back in the January meeting of 2024, he lost by a neck. Whilst you would have expected him to win that race, it was a neck. You've got to say, John Bon is a class act, and he should get the job done in this race. Marine Nationale, interesting, 5 to 1 will be, the bookmakers believe will be his closest rival in this race. But yeah, really do fancy John Bon to get the job done in this race. He'll be a very popular selection, but popular for a reason. And I still feel he's backable at an even money shot. Obviously, anything can happen. It is horse racing. Talking of anything that can happen, Captain Guinness in really stinky form of recent times. I mean, 6th last time out. Didn't run well at all. It was a 40 to 1 as well, and didn't run well at the back end of last year either. At the festive meeting over in Leopardstown, 5th of 9, pulled up on his previous start before that. But Smoky form before that. But you've got to remember, this horse won this race last year, 17 to 2. The year before, he finished second. So very, very capable. And at a price of 20 to 1, yes, he is in bad form. But at a price of 20 to 1, I do feel he is worth a little punt each way, Captain Guinness. So best of luck for the 4 o'clock on Wednesday. Best of luck for Wednesday. Hope you're all having a great week so far. Let me know what you're getting on in these races. What's your best bet for Wednesday? Wish you all the best. I'm back with Thursday selections very, very soon. Take care all, and speak again soon.